Happy New Year, Panther fans. I'm David Brown. Okay, and apparently I'm just stop talking now. I'm David Brown along with Ryan Graham.
Hey, y'all.
Tim Thurber.
Hello.
And this is State of Atlanta.
I'm like, are we changing this up? Am I introducing myself? What's going on?
I threw myself off by instead of saying welcome back, Panther fans, saying Happy New Year, and that just like kind of ruined my entire little spiel. I was like, all right, I'm done. Like everybody else, just take control now. Let's do the thing.
What's next? I don't know.
Exactly. What do we talk about here? What is this whole thing about? Well, anyhow, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back, guys. Welcome to the new year. How's everybody doing?
Wonderful.
Good. Already broke my New Year's resolution to work less, so I'm doing well.
I don't make New Year's resolutions because I don't like failing.
And you know it's going to happen, right? Yeah. Make your New Year's resolution to not exceed expectations.
Yeah.
Winning.
Shit.
Well, so it's 2021, which means all of 2020's problems have been resolved, and we can move forward, and everything goes back to normal, because that's what the whole thing was. It was
I'm pretty sure that's what that means, right? 2020 is over, and it was the worst, and so now this can only be better.
Exactly. Everything's in the back window or whatever you want to say, and so we don't have to worry about masks anymore. We can fill the sports arena for basketball games and all that. We can go to bars and everything afterwards, right?
I don't know if you actually saw, but Georgia had its first case of the UK variant of the COVID thing. So it's the one that we don't have a vaccine for. We're doing this forever, man. This is it.
This is the new norm, right?
Life.
I hate that phrase too, the whole new normal. Yeah.
Podcast this way forever.
I mean, I foresee us doing it like this anyway. So this is so easy. This is so convenient and safe.
Well, Tim and I can get drunk in the studios, and we can video feed into Ryan, so he'd be like our little Max Headroom person on the whole thing.
Are we doing a studio? Is that something you didn't tell us? Did you get us a Christmas present?
Studio, my basement, whatever you want to call it. So.
Multi-purpose facility.
There's not a lot to talk about this week, but I'm sure we'll find a way to drag this out to an hour and a half anyways. All I really got is just the two basketball games that happened, and then looking ahead to Troy as well. We'll see what goes on. There was some talk on the message board on Panther Talk, a few people chiming in that they could see a perfect record going on for the Panthers to run the Sun Belt this season, and like explaining why it was reasonable. And
game one.
While I don't think it was an unreasonable discussion to have, at no point did I ever think that we were going to run the table. But I tell you,
there's too many games. Like that's an unreasonable expectation for how many games that they play. There's gonna be a down game if you're playing that many. Like no matter how good you are.
And being Georgia State Atlanta fans in general, don't you know if we would have run the table in the regular season, we'd be like setting ourselves up for being kicked out in the very first round of the
the second round, but yeah.
Tournament. Yeah, I don't even know how that whole thing is formatted. We have weeks for me to look into that. I'm not gonna lie, I was bummed out on that first game loss. Like just the way that it happened. I mean, I was feeling pretty down. I was not looking forward to that Saturday game.
Well, and I saw all the chats coming back and forth about, how the next game wasn't going to be any better because the same players were going to be out or whatever. And,
that was the big
players step up.
You guys all seem sad.
That was the big news is like we turned the game on, and like the very first words out of those horrible announcers' mouths were Sesame and Toppins were going to be gone. I mean, that is like, you could have knocked me over with a feather with that. Tim, did you know? I guess it was posted on Panther Talk beforehand, but like right beforehand. What was your take when you heard that?
Well, first I didn't know, and when I heard it, I was extremely distraught because it's our favorite player,
right?
By default,
it's not my.
And then I wondered, where the hell are we going to get rebounds from?
And we didn't.
And we didn't that game at all whatsoever.
Well, but if you look at it though, that game we went down 9 points early in the first half. I mean, like super, super early. And that's just what we really never battled back from. We got it within 3 points several times, maybe even two, I think several times. So I know you can't just like erase a segment of a game, but like if you take that little bad stretch out we had in the very first half, it's a completely different game. And obviously Sesame is that difference. He would have made a huge difference in that game, but not having him in the second game, I was nervous about, but the Panthers came out to make a statement in that second game. They were up by 14 early in the first half.
I mean, we found hot shooting and then we found rebounding somehow in that game. We had some players step up and get some rebounds. I think in the first game we were out rebounded somewhere in the 15 to 20 range, and I think they had 17 boards on the offensive glass. You're not like they had so many second chance points. Plus, they were shooting on fire.
And what does that mean? What did you just say?
That is some Coach Hunter numbers right there. We don't need to rebound the ball, just score, block their shots, steal the ball.
Something about offensive glass and boards.
Yes.
What's that mean? What does
glass
all that
and
mean?
Boards.
Well, one thing that came up.
What does it mean?
We know none of us know. That's why we don't say it normally.
Oh, okay, cool. I really was like, trying to be the voice of ignorance here because I am, and hoping that there was some explanation.
It's getting rebounds off your shots, your own shots, offensive shots.
Oh, okay, all right.
So I mean, they out rebounded us clearly in that game. Well, everything. And then the really odd stat that stuck out to me was our free throw percentage was almost 77%, which is unheard of.
Yeah, we came back to life in the second game. I believe it dropped quite a bit.
Yeah, so everything reversed in the second game.
Yeah, well, we were the ones getting fouled in the second game, and we were the ones doing the fouling. And I don't know if that makes a difference. One thing that those horrible announcers said that I kind of
which one thing?
Yeah, you were not okay with these announcers.
I was actually texting you about this. Or like this thing I wasn't texting you about, Tim. But no, one of the things I said was we switched up from running primarily man defense to zone defense in that second game, and that's where things seem to be going well for us. Switched back to man, and that's when they got it close and tied it up there at the half. And so we switched back to zone. So I know what those two things are. I don't pay close of attention to a game to really acknowledge that I'm understanding which ones they're running. Is that something that you saw going on, Tim, that made sense to you?
Yeah, I mean, we did switch up the defense a little bit. They were getting outside shots easily. We had no help basically on the interior when they would throw it down to that douchebag. What's his name?
Tipper, or
no, the Lion King guy. What's his name?
The big boy?
Yeah.
The big boy didn't. I don't feel like he played that much in the game. To me, for a while, even I remember that was the team with the big guy, and he was kind of like
no, not the big guy. I mean, he's tall. Not the. There was a bigger person on that team.
Yeah, changes the gravitational pull of the ball around the
Mustafa.
court.
I don't know. I can't remember.
Oh yeah, Mustafa. Yeah.
He was a force inside, and we were struggling with that. And so they were getting a lot of, give and goes. They would throw it into him. We would kind of collapse because we were man to man at the time, and then they would dish it out for a three. So when we changed to zone, it made it harder for them to actually get those threes or even like have him score. He was frustrated, right? You could tell he was getting chippy when he wasn't getting his way, which he was getting at first in the game. So,
well, if I recall correctly as well, if your strategy is to foul Coastal to win a game, foul Mustafa because he was like missing everything from the line. If I recall correctly, he was just not a good free throw shooter. So
he is us, just slightly worse. Basically,
that's not a good news. The other thing about those horrible announcers that annoyed me was this is what I did message you about, Tim, was like every single time a 3-pointer was attempted, you'd get so and so's got a good look, Corey Allen's got a good look, and then both the teams combined for 40% 3-point shooting. But 100% of the time, that announcer was saying, with a good look, Corey Allen goes for 3. No. They can't all be good looks if you're missing 60% of the shots.
You could just be really bad at 3-pointers. If it's a good look and you suck at them, then you're not going to make a lot of them. But isn't 40% a high number?
I don't know, but what I'm saying,
yes.
he said it for every single 3-point attempt. It wasn't like there were select shots where he's like, oh, that looks like that's a good one. No, it was every single shot, every single 3-point attempt. He said, with a good look. That's a good look. What's that?
So to be honest, I mean, he was terrible. But I kind of felt like he was NBA Jam, right? Like I was waiting for him to say, he's on fire, like and it was all repetitive, just like you said. Like it was the same words over and over and over again for whatever player was shooting a 3.
And also, did you hear during the broadcast, they talked about how this was the first time they've ever heard of two teams playing back-to-back games against the same team. It's just so unheard of. It's an unheard of thing. But yeah, we're in an unheard of times. You don't normally play the exact same team in back-to-back weeks. We get it. Say that at the beginning of the game, maybe say it again at halftime, be done. No, this was like coming out of every commercial break.
It's also not unheard of in other sports where, like in baseball, you play series, right? And you go and you play a bunch of games head to head. And I think it makes a lot of sense to play them all at once.
Well, yeah, they did acknowledge that in like the NBA playoffs, you'll play the same team multiple times. Looking at
so he was just like, yeah, but everything I just said was kind of like bull because like other basketball teams do it all the time.
Maybe he was just trying to find something to talk about during a Coastal Carolina Georgia State basketball game. And
fair enough. Well, way to defend him.
Maybe
the one thing that could make you like him was defending him against me.
Yeah, it works. It works. But so. I mean, we've only got 1 week in the books here, but what did you think, Tim, watching it, doing back-to-back games like that? Just did it feel weird waking up the next day and playing the exact same team?
It definitely felt weird. You could tell the teams were a bit tired, right?
Yeah.
Like they got slow in the second half, making some bad passes, turnovers. We didn't have that many turnovers, but you could tell the team was tired. They're not used to this. They don't play Friday, Saturday.
Right.
They at least play, was it Wednesday, Saturday, or Thursday, Saturday? There's at least a day off in between, for the last X years.
But that day was travel too. So it wasn't like they were really getting a chance just to chill. They had to, sit on a bus or a plane or something. But yeah.
You're checking out Conway, man. What are you talking about? Friday night.
Partying it up in the Residence Inn in Conway, South Carolina.
Not to be confused with Myrtle Beach. They did not go to Myrtle Beach, that's for sure.
No, it's an extra 45 minutes there and back that you don't want to have to worry about, One thing they did that was kind of surprised me, I saw in that Saturday game, was they did switch up the uniforms. So we played with our traditional away whites on Friday, and then we played the blue homes on Saturday. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore, which I just wasn't expecting it. I guess it makes sense. You don't want to you don't want to contaminate your jerseys and that dirty Conway, South Carolina water doing laundry that night. And
isn't basketball switched where like the home jerseys are light colored and the away jerseys are dark?
Yeah.
And then flip whatever I said.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I know like a select few facts about basketball, and that's one that I have. And so, I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that I knew some things. The ball is also round, guys. It's round.
It is a round ball. Yeah.
If we score more points, we win.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's another one I know.
I do think that with two sets of jerseys going back on that bus and a bag of some sort, I would not want to be the person back in Atlanta having to wash those jerseys a couple of days ripe. That's the kind of I think about when I put notes down for this whole thing.
That's weird. That's the kind of shit that you put down when you have to talk for an hour about two basketball games.
Exactly. I'll bring that up later on when we talk about the Troy game. I'll talk about changing the jerseys and having to.
So, David, did you think going into the second game, were you kind of on the same wavelength? You thinking we weren't probably going to pull this one out to get the split series?
Well, so that's what kind of bothered me. Like what I was thinking when I asked you the question about playing the two games. Had we won that very first game, either in a close fashion or a blowout, kind of like it wasn't really a blowout that they did, but yeah. I would have felt a lot better about it, but going into it, I'm like, man, this is a horrible idea. I don't like losing a game and having to play the exact same team again with the exact same players and no rest and everything. But, we worked out. We split the games. It's weird. I don't think that as far as a season ticket holder going, when we get to the home games, with the family and the kids and stuff, having to go out Friday night and watch a game, then go back out again Saturday afternoon to watch a game, that's going to be taxing on just fans as well, let alone the players that actually have to go out there and exert themselves and everything. But yeah, I did not like it having lost the game. Had we won the game, I would have felt a lot better about it.
Yeah, I guess I'd rather win games. If we're going to lose, if we're going to split all these series, I'd rather win game 2.
Yeah.
And end the weekend on a good note instead of ending on a sour note.
I'm pretty confident. I did not say this last week on the podcast, but I was thinking going into the games that really with Coastal and with Troy this coming up, if we can get out of both of these split series, I would be happy going into the rest of the season. These are supposed to be two of our tougher games. I actually did go look at Georgia State's history against Coastal, and I didn't realize this. We've not played Coastal well, like ever. Like it's been I think our series is tied at not tied. We're 6-4 in the series, but we play them. Where did I put those stupid notes? I got them somewhere.
Nice.
Yeah, whatever.
He's got notes.
He keeps his stats. He keeps.
So we before they joined the Sun Belt, we were 0-2. We'd played them twice before. We were 0-2 against them, and then since then we've gone 4-4. So I said we're 4-6. Sorry, we're 4-6 against Coastal historically. We've only played them twice in the sports arena. Those two are two of our wins against them. So something about playing in Conway is not in our favor. I don't know what it is, but they were saying this is going to be the toughest games we played this season. I didn't realize that we've really struggled against Coastal. So getting out of there, splitting them is some accomplishment. That's good. That's a positive thing. We should be proud of that one, especially in Conway.
Yeah, which tumbles us right into our favorite team, Troy.
Yeah, which we never struggled with whatsoever at all.
Are we playing there? Is that
Yeah,
we're playing.
Yeah.
Before we move on to Troy, I did want to bring up one last thing about how about the game up there, and that is, I think Kirby messaged out in a little group thing, whatever. He said he'll never complain about the sports arena again after being up there in Conway's gym. And I guess they moved a lot of the bleachers back and stuff for the spacing.
Right.
Man, it did look bad. Like it looked really bad out there. And the camera angles they had, I don't remember watching games at Coastal before. I'm sure I've watched our games we've played there in the past.
Mm-hmm.
The cameras seemed like they were so close to the court, they really couldn't get a good view on it. And it was almost a Blair Witch type thing as they followed the ball from one side to the other. And it was crazy. And then they had their behind the basket camera on one side. You could actually see the Alabama bowl game going on.
Yeah, I saw that too.
I spent the second game trying to figure out what they were watching the next day, but I couldn't see that one on there. But it was it was pretty
Yeah, it made me appreciate the sports arena a little bit more. It makes me excited about our new convocation center because we're not going to have those weird seats in our convocation center.
Right. Exactly.
I doubt we're going to have that much like retractable bleachers.
I can't imagine you'd have much more than a couple of rows, if anything.
Maybe one side, like in one of the.
Yeah, you could pull it back for where the players actually have their benches and everything, and those can come out from other events. But yeah, I don't think it'll be much of it. It was just a crappy stadium, and like the camera angles were bad, and then whatever ESPN Plus was doing about not having the score on the screen. I hate that.
That was my favorite thing.
Why can't we have the score on the screen?
Who wants the score? Who wants to know who's winning or what time's left?
Exactly. No, yeah, none of that stuff is important. Let's just show this crappy angle of a game. But all right, we're out of there.
We did have one tweet, by the way. You saw that. It was only shown a couple times in camera angles, but there's one suite in one of the corners.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I was like, well, okay, so not really great seats in the entire arena, but you do have a suite for who knows, probably their version of the pack or whatever, right?
Right. And there wasn't a lot of camera angles of the fans you could see, but I would say they honestly looked less people in attendance than what I've seen so far at our games. But then again, I'm sure they may have upper bleacher seats like we do that you can't see on camera, but whatever.
I don't think so. I think it's just what you saw. Like the other side that was folded up, that was the side behind the camera.
Well, finally, I can now say that there's definitely a basketball arena in the Sun Belt that is worse than the sports arena because it looked horrible. And then it also doesn't help when it's plastered in teal bleachers as well. That doesn't make it look any better.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Getting back to the score not showing up, that's one of the reasons that pissed me off about, ESPN Plus at all. It's because, I knew the quality of those feeds from watching ESPN3 for however long. And I'm like, now you want me to pay for this crappy feed? Like, really? Because I won't. I just won't.
I don't mind paying $5-6 a month to be able to watch all the Georgia State stuff.
Yeah, fair. I get it.
But then again, I'm actually watching these games. You're not watching these games.
Yeah. That's the other thing is, I don't really have a lot of intention on watching that. But even with football, they crappy feeds, crappy announcers usually. Like, come on, man.
I mean, Gamecast while you're playing video games is fine, right?
I do that frequently. Yes. Yep. Frequently. You guys can't tell, but this is one monitor. I got another monitor here. So this is my gaming monitor, and then this will be my watching monitor.
I thought you were going to say your work monitor, and so you like I work on here while I'm playing video games all day long as well.
That happens. That definitely happens.
All right, we'll get a chance to make fun of the color teal for another week next week. We can go ahead and move on to Troy. And so what I'm concerned about with Troy is the fact that we'll have to have 2 sets of uniforms drive back to Atlanta to clean. But fortunately, it's only a couple-hour drive, so they shouldn't get too stanky on Saturday night.
You got us through at least 15 seconds there.
Well, actually, so that's the thing about the Troy game. As you know, I steal pretty much every idea that I come up with from things I've read about from others on like message boards and everything. But Ben has not got the Troy game thread up this week yet. So I've got nothing from anybody else to steal.
We need to get one of those workers on that, Ryan. Aren't you still a worker of Panther Talk?
I am still staff, yes.
Well, get on it, man. Come on.
All right.
Troy's another team that we as we know, it's not been like, easy for us. I went back and looked at the history of the games here, and we're up 1. It's 20-19 as far as our record goes. So whoever wins at least one game here is going to take the lead or maintain the lead or whatever you want. I don't know what I'm talking about. That makes no sense. We had a pretty good lead in the series. We were up 6 games a few years ago, but the past 11 games, we've gone 3-8 against Troy. Against Troy. I didn't realize it was that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
We can have the best team in the planet. We just find a way to lose there.
I don't know what it is. It's scary. So this is definitely one we can get out 1-1. I'll be very happy about.
Yeah, they can be the worst and we can be the best and we'll still lose. That's weird.
Yeah. I mean, I was there when they just – it's like there's something possessed when we go to that arena. They will find a way to win.
Didn't they win a bunch in their old arena and have a new arena now that they still win a bunch in?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's true. I think within the last decade they've gotten a new arena.
That sounds right. Yeah. So
more basketball facts from Ryan.
They did. Everyone in the East Division did split their win over the weekend, over this past weekend. So Troy's right there with us, 1-1 going into it. They played App, and not to get into covering all the other games, but just talking about Troy since we're playing this week. Troy won the first game against App, 69-56. That's a pretty good win. But then App came back and like just bitch slapped Troy in the second game, and they won 90-59. So App may be in that same kind of position that we were in, where like knocking a little rust off in the first game and not altogether, but then took it personally in the second. So I don't know what to expect out of Troy, but depending on how we do, I'll be judging that as far as how we play App, because I think that after Coastal, App may be our next divisional opponent or next opponent. So
I think we need to just win the entire series to like break the hex that's on us beating them in their arena. I mean,
yeah, they beat us twice. Lanier doesn't have a win against Troy yet. They beat us here and they beat us down there last time. So it'd be good to get at least one, but I would definitely, it would be a good statement out of this program to get 2 wins. And we should be getting our guys back. Sosami and Toppin should both be back for this game, right? That's what we heard.
I think so. I don't know. It's a little vague. Like if they had COVID or they were just traced via exposures and they have to sit out Coastal. I haven't followed up on it.
Probability says that it was just contact tracing kept them out, because I think that's what's been obliterating football teams and basketball teams. So,
well, I mean, based off how we played in Conway, if we get Sosami and Toppins back, it's a completely different game, completely different performance. And it's a team that would have won both those games easily. And we'd go into this beating our chest about how great the program is and how we're going to go undefeated in conference. But
undefeated -1.
Yeah. Do you guys follow the it's a Reddit thing, but it's kind of gotten more like national exposure. The Imperialism maps they do for college teams or for sports teams.
Yeah. So like if you beat somebody, you get all their wins, and it starts coloring it over like
Yeah.
a map.
Right. At the beginning of the season, they pretty much go every county in the nation, and the county that's closest to a university, that university gets to claim that as their land. And I was looking at it this week, and and then as you lose a game, that team takes your land. So if we had played out in Minnesota and won a game, we would inherit those Minnesota counties or something. So it looks like a weird map when you see the Panther head way out
Pretty
there.
cool. It's interesting.
It's neat. It means absolutely nothing.
Nothing. Nothing.
It's kind of neat.
Very scientific, actually.
But one thing I thought was kind of cool looking at it going into the conference play is as far as the Sun Belt goes, only Georgia State owns any land in the nation. We're the only team. We own our area because after losing to Mercer, we beat Mercer again. So we pretty much regained our own land. And I guess we got Macon as well, but I don't know. I didn't even write that down to talk about, but I thought it was interesting.
Coastal for a hot 24 hours had all our land, and then we just got it back.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
But so
does it happen if you don't look?
At the end of the regular season, whichever team wins the Sun Belt tournament will have all the land they'll have is just the Atlanta market, just Atlanta and Macon, I guess, which is kind of weird. But yeah, so what else you got about Troy? I mean,
are there no more out of conference games? Is that what you're saying?
Right. We're conference only until we make postseason.
Oh, wow. All right. That's kind of weird. And, but I guess the tournament, we can maybe, we can talk about that, right? Did you have that on your agenda?
The tournament?
Yeah.
No, week one into the conference play, I did not have our 8 weeks out tournament to talk about. But
the March Madness, the first brackets came out from the net results or whatever. I don't know what I'm saying. But I saw a bracket today. And it had our name on it.
Woohoo!
Yeah, we were a 14 seed versus, I think, Kansas. Right, Tim? You're nodding along. I think I'm right.
Yeah, I think you're right.
14 seed is really easy to nod your head against because I think the Sun Belt champion pretty much always is right there at a 14, maybe a 13 seed.
I think, yeah, we could have slipped in as 13 at some point. We maybe deserve 12 once in a while, but...
Yeah, there's a good video out there on YouTube about an argument for why they need to change up the seedings, about how you have really crappy games at the beginning of the tournament. Like there's a Cinderella teams that do these magnificent upsets, but you could actually get better basketball if you weren't putting a 16 seed versus a 1 seed. If you actually kind of paired teams up a little bit better, but.
Yeah, but that's the benefit of being a 1 seed, right? That's like that gives you something to pay for at the end of the season to say like, well, I know we're gonna make it, but like, we want to make it as number 1 seed, so it's easier.
Well, that guy's YouTube video is a lot better than my description of stuff. So yeah, if you watch that video,
also he's wrong. So there's that too.
Yeah, I mean, I think the bracket prediction today was like the official March Madness account, Andy Katz's bracket. But there's ESPN; they have like 4 people that do brackets. We've pretty much been in every single one preseason and so far during the season. I didn't look to where we're at right now in some of the ESPN ones, but it is interesting, I guess, since we're talking about the tournament. They're going to host the entire thing in Indianapolis across God knows how many arenas. I think they're going to have 2 courts in whatever their football stadium's called.
Lucas Oil.
Yeah.
But they're all 2 courts in Lucas Oil, but they won't be playing simultaneously.
What? Right. They should. They absolutely should play simultaneously.
That'd be awesome.
That would be amazing.
Actually, just play on the same court. Just yeah.
It's kind of weird. Like everything's in Indy. They still said they're debating fans or whatever. Probably not at this point. Hopefully things change.
If you have Lucas Oil Stadium with a court, 2 courts in there, you can fit fans in there. If these schools are putting fans into their 3,000, 4,000 seat arenas, and you go into, I would assume Lucas Oil's probably around 70,000 for a football configuration, probably more for a basketball configuration. It's with 2 courts on it. You should definitely be able to have fans in there. Definitely be able to have fans in there, especially considering we'll be 2 months out from a month and a half out from now, and there'll be a lot of people that have gotten vaccines and stuff. Put them out there.
I hope so.
It's just so funny because I think last year around this time, and we were so surprised when they canceled March Madness. And I was like, oh well, they're not going to let that happen again. Like, this is just because they got caught off guard. And now if they're talking about not having fans, it's almost like they're talking about doing the same. I mean, it's not canceling it, but it's like almost as bad. I mean, it's terrible not having fans.
I think they posted about like family members and stuff getting in, right?
Yeah.
People associated to the school or whatever, but like just regular fan attendance is what they're debating.
There's plenty of space, like David was saying, to spread out in Lucas Oil. Yeah.
And I guess what we all need to hope for is that Notre Dame makes the tournament, because based off of their college football playoff game, like the head coach was like, well, we're not going to play if there's not going to be fans at the game, which I think is part of why, we got moved to Arlington. That may have just been because California. I don't know exactly.
Yeah, California got more strict. That's what happened there.
But Notre Dame said that they were not going to play in a playoff game if at least friends and family or family of the players were not allowed to be in the stadium.
Somebody should have been like, good, you weren't supposed to be here anyway, so like go on. Bye, dude.
What evidence do you have that Notre Dame should not have been in the football playoffs?
Was it losing their conference championship?
Yeah, I was joking.
Okay. By a lot?
You missed my joke there completely.
Yeah, sorry. I was not giving you the benefit of the doubt, and then I was also explaining it to the people at home.
Yeah.
All 10 of them.
So yeah, Troy.
Detroit, yeah. I mean, this is going to be a tough game.
ESPN gives us an 84.7% chance of wins. It's just showing we're done.
All right, screw you, ESPN.
Don't even play the game.
I did find it interesting that the Vegas odds when we played Coastal, we were projected to win Coastal in the first game, and we didn't, and we were still a 1.5 point favorite in the second game. So, they knew something we didn't.
They didn't know about COVID
numbers and math and stuff like that. But how you feeling about this game, Tim? Going to Detroit?
I'm gonna think we go in there, and I think we'll pull out 2. We got our star players back. I don't know if there's any COVID-related absences from the game. Hopefully not.
We'll have to wait till we turn the game on and find out. Like, we're playing all backup players because everybody's out. We don't. Yeah.
I mean, I think we split them no matter what. I admit we're better, but I believe in curses. So.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
We'll win the second one.
My heart says no. My mind says you're right.
I want to get into a system of winning the first one. I'd feel much better.
Man, we got to keep that land in the Imperial map thing. We got to keep it. So you got to lose the second. You got to win the second one no matter what.
Yes, imperialism rules. We need to
got to keep that land.
Got to keep the land. So Ryan, you're saying 1-1. Tim probably saying the same. We're all probably saying we're going to split the games, right?
No, Tim we're going to win both. He said we're going to take out 2.
We're going to take 2 on them. I like it.
Take 2.
I like it. I like it a lot. So hopefully you're right on that one. Yeah. So Tim, you want to talk about what the conference did last week as well?
The conference do? These guys. Come on.
Ooh, we had a lot of games, Ryan. It's going to take like 10 minutes to get through.
Oh, I didn't spend 10 minutes talking about.
I thought the conference did something stupid.
Yeah,
I thought there were news about like something the Sun Belt did.
Yeah, they admitted Georgia Southern in the conference. That was pretty stupid.
Womp womp.
Yeah, I mean, like just a high level kind of. What was your take on what happened in the conference?
Yeah, I mean, there's only one exciting game on Friday the 1st. We had Texas State losing in overtime to ULL. Congrats to the Swamp people.
Boo.
Yeah, that was an overtime game. I didn't watch any of the West Division games. I think I actually had one on the multicast up at one point.
They still have that same coach,
Bob Marlin. Yeah. And based off talking to the Rage and Review guys, I feel like while they're probably happy about what he's done for the program so far, they acknowledge that he is a total piece of work.
Nice. Yeah. Good.
One of the best scores of the weekend, Southern losing to South Alabama, 88-59.
Yay.
That They were smoked. But then again, they came back and they won the next day.
True.
But they didn't keep any land because they didn't have any to keep.
They had no land.
Guys, just so you know, this is all I care about now. I'll come prepared
Every week.
with the Imperial map, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, the libertarian would be the one that's all about the imperialism.
I gotta gamify the game. You know what I'm saying? Make it interesting.
So our friends in Louisiana, they can't win anything.
What?
Yeah, those Monroe guys, they actually
They won 84-72 over Arkansas State. So
they actually won. They're one of
2-0.
Yeah, there's only out of the entire conference, there's only 2 teams that are 2-0, and Monroe's one of them. They that basketball team sat around and watched a lot of bad football over fall. And was like, we are not going to be that team.
Yeah, exactly. I think we already talked about Troy beating App, right? And then App coming back and beating Troy, so they split the series. The second, we had, obviously, we talked about Southern coming back. So the East, basically, all the teams split 1-1. And then there were 2 teams in the West Division, Little Rock and Monroe, that won their series outright. I was kind of thinking the whole conference would split. You'd have 1-1 teams everywhere, but
that would have been so exciting.
Who did Little Rock play?
Little Rock played. Who did they play? Louisiana.
Arlington.
Arlington.
Yeah, the two non-football teams played each other. So
yeah, but Little Rock's usually the good one, right?
Right.
Yes.
And I think Little Rock was picked to be the winner of the West Division, so they're rolling along as they should be.
Yeah, but they didn't have to, beat somebody who's been beating them for a while. So,
I've got no idea about the history of that, but I'm going to assume that Little Rock probably may have the edge, at least recently, against UTA, whatever they call it.
Yeah, whatever, man. Yeah, no, that's right. I think. Yeah,
UTA Arlington, UTA.
So where does that leave us? Where are we at? Where's the conference looking right now as far as standings?
We're in the lead of everyone. We're number 1.
No, Georgia State's still number 1.
Oh, we're always number 1.
Well, wait. What is our mid-major ranking?
9th, and not ranked in the other one.
Oh, okay. So what are we, like 80, 89, something like that?
Actually, we only dropped 2 spots to 73 in the ESPN BPI.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I'll take that. See, that's good news to me.
Not bad. We're like on the outside, just looking in the window right now.
Yeah. No, because that's not how it works. All we have to do is win the Sun Belt. Doesn't matter what we're ranked.
Then we're inside.
We could be ranked. I guess we couldn't be last, but we could be ranked 12th or 12th to last. No, well, I guess
you could be 330th and win the conference tournament and get in.
But then you wouldn't be 330th. I would imagine your ranking would go up at that moment.
You'd win that 1 game or 4 games to get you in.
Yeah.
All right, now that everyone's tuned out of this episode.
Well, you didn't plan enough, David, so now it's just me and Tim rambling at each other.
It's never a good point when that happens. So it's only good when I'm talking and saying things that are incredibly entertaining to hear. But
all right.
I actually don't really have anything. One little thing. So I made a mistake. Last week I talked about women's basketball, that they're following the men along. Or I should say follow them. The 2 programs are playing the exact same schools. I didn't realize this. They are doing that. They are playing. So women were scheduled to play Coastal this past week. Didn't because of COVID issues. But no, they're doing home and away. So the men were away at Coastal this week, and the women were to be home against Coastal. So I thought they were trying. The reason why they were doing this was to try to save travel expenses or something.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Fewer buses, fewer trips, everything. But yeah. So if you're going to do the 2 teams play the exact same schools, like why be home and away on that? Makes no sense.
No, nothing. No sense whatsoever.
Welcome to the Sun Belt,
David.
I guess you could make you could say that it would take time to like clean out the arenas between games to make sure, but I'm like, just not that much time, really.
Wouldn't that be easier than filling up a truck when you didn't have to, and like going down there and doing like when you don't have to?
Well, I've got no idea how many buses we would use to go to, Conway versus Troy for two teams. If it's all the exact same thing, but you would assume that being able to combine at least a little bit would make it.
I'd imagine you'd combine your equipment truck, and that would probably be about it, right? The buses would probably be the same.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, because I mean, all your staff could go on one bus, right? And yeah, no, it doesn't make any sense.
It's weird to me. It's weird.
Yeah, it's dumb. But they don't pay us the big bucks, so.
You think they're getting paid the big bucks?
Sunbelt people, maybe. I don't know. Bigger bucks than me? No, probably not. I do okay.
Ryan's pretty high on himself. Well, we're only 40 minutes in, guys, but I don't really have anything else to talk about this week. Well, I got a couple of things for last call, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I gave you that thing, but I think that should probably be last call. So.
Oh yeah,
is there a bowl grade last call?
Yeah, the bowl grade. Tim sent that to me just before we got on here. I think
what?
We got graded, man.
Grading our bowl performance, bowl game.
Oh. We got a bowl grade because it was an A+, wasn't it?
Well, you'll have to either find that article or tune into last call to find out.
Yes.
It wasn't enough.
Either.
That's all I'm giving you.
And I will say that while I agree with their grade, I disagree with their reasoning behind it.
Oh, good. Okay. All right.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening. And we're going to take the conversation over to last call. We'll have a few more drinks and talk a little more candidly about the Panthers, football and basketball. We didn't talk about football really at all this episode.
Not much to
talk about. Man, it's a bummer.
I know.
You don't have anything to talk about. But yeah, so check that out on our Patreon page, free on Friday, patreon.com/State of Atlanta. Thanks to our Patreon members. We just gained this over the holidays here. They get to hear it immediately free and get to be part of our private group chat where you get to hear all of my thoughts and ramblings as I drink during games. And Tim and Ryan sometimes reply.
Truth.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening. Check out the Patreon. Check out the last call on Patreon. Bye, everyone.
Bye, y'all.
Peace.